Hi everyone. Today we're going to be doing some lettering. We are going to be doing a lettering that I like to call shadow lettering, and a lettering that I like to call fuzzy lettering, and another one that I like to call sketch lettering. And we'll just get started, okay? Okay everybody, we are going to start doing some lettering. Before we get started though, I'd like you to pull some supplies together. What we'll be doing is the lettering on top of paper, obviously. I'll want you to get some either plain paper or if you have some paper, which you probably do, some notebook paper laying around the house, this would be good to use because it already has lines printed on it, which will make it easier to do your letters on top of, okay? But I'm going to be using just regular bond paper that I've used a ruler and a pencil to draw lines on. Some other things that I'd like you to maybe gather, if you have them, you could get some colored pencils if you have some colored pencils. You could use crayons, the best invention in the world, these crayons, if you want to. Any kind of markers that you might have around the house, an eraser, a pencil. I really like to do the shadow lettering with highlighters, like a yellow marker, or a green marker, an orange marker, something that's a light colored marker. The sketch lettering, we're going to be using a pencil, and the fuzzy lettering, you want to try to get something that has sort of a broad type of marker tip to it. Even like a really thick crayon would work too. And then just some various colored pens, if you have any gel pens or highlighter pens of any kind that are thin line pens, any of those will work, okay? So we're going to get started. Okay, we're going to start with doing the shadow lettering. Now, I don't know how many of you out there know how to do cursive lettering. I'm going to do this first sample in cursive. If you don't know how to do cursive yet or just don't like to do it, we can also do it in printing. But the reason I like to do shadow lettering in the cursive is because cursive lettering has a continuous line across it. You don't lift your pen up when you do cursive, so when you're making the shadows on the shadow lettering, it's easier to do it if there's a straight line of letters going across, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to be starting this out with a yellow marker. You should be able to see this, and I'm going to be writing the word shadow. So I'm doing it in cursive. Okay, there's the word shadow. Now, what I like to do next is I like to take a fine liner. You can use a ballpoint pen. You could even use a pencil, but a pen probably would work better. And I outline all of this. So on both sides of that yellow line, I outline the letter all the way around. And this is going to take just a little bit of time here. I'll try to do it as fast as I can. So you want to follow, you see what I'm doing? I'm just going around all the letters on both sides. So you're getting this double line. And this just takes a little bit of practice, and even if you accidentally go over a line that you didn't mean to, don't worry about it. So you just go over all these all the lettering lines on both sides. And there we go. Okay, so now we have our letters, our word outlined, all our letters outlined. And now you're going to be taking a darker pen shade. I'm going to use pink here. You can also use pencil. You could use blue. You could use green, just something that's darker than the letter color that you use. So in my case, it's yellow, and I'm going to use pink. And I'm going to go down on the bottom of all of these lines to make a shadow. And that's why I like to call this shadow lettering. I don't know what else we would call it, but I just go on the very bottom of it, and that's it. So see how really nice that looks? It has just, you can just see a shadow. It's very simple to do, but it has a big bang. And if you, even if you do like a crayon, and I'll do purple over the pink. If you use a crayon, you can just go over this, even make it even darker. See, crayons work just as good. See? So that's just a really fun way to do lettering. Now you can also do it with printing. I'm not going to do the whole word just to save a little bit of time, but I'll do the word yes. That won't take us long. So there's the word yes. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to outline it in this dark fine liner, which in this case it's a purple. And it works for printing too. It just looks a little better in cursive, but you can do it with printing. And in this case, you would just go to the bottom of every letter like that. You could even exaggerate the shadow. Don't forget all the other areas. So there's that shadow. You can, like I said, you can do the same thing with a crayon. Okay, so the next sample I'm going to do is, for the lack of another name for it, is just, I've just been calling it sketch lettering. And that's because you're kind of sketching the letter. So I'm going to write the word hello. And what you do, you can print out the letters, but I like to sketch them out. So I'm going to do the letter H to show you. It's a lowercase h. And what I mean by drawing it out, so you can do your E, you could go like that as a template, and then you could sketch around that. So you're just making these sketchy lines. And this looks fun just by itself, but what I like to do is I like to outline those. And you could use, so you could do that again. You could do a Sharpie, a ballpoint pen, a fine liner, a Bic pen, a regular ballpoint pen. But for this, I'm going to use a Sharpie just to show you. So your sketching gave you the shape of your letter, and this, you just outline it. And see, it's just another fun way to do some lettering. And you know, you could do this all day long. At least I could. Okay, so that's one sample. Okay, the last one I want to do is what I like to call fuzzy. And try to find something thick, like a thick marker. See how thick that marker is? Or a thick crayon. Even a thick piece of chalk would work. And I like to just call this fuzzy because I can't think of another thing. If you can think of something, let me know. So I'm going to write out the word fuzzy. So F-U-Z-Z-Y. Okay? So now to make this fuzzy letter fuzzy, I'm going to use a Sharpie, but you could use any kind of little marker. Is I just do dots around this, and you don't have to do it real exact. In fact, if you kind of make it so the dots kind of aren't exact on the line, but kind of just like over. Once you're done, after all of the letters are dotted, the word itself looks fuzzy. It kind of gives it an illusion of being not quite, sort of just looks fuzzy, like it's out of focus. And if you do it with a color that's really close, like if I did the lettering in red and then I did the dots in like a hot pink or a purple, it would even look fuzzier because those two colors are so close in tone that it would throw your eye even a little bit more. But you could do, this would be good for like doing around Halloween You know, you could do spooky or, you know, bloody or scary or something. And this makes a good way to do letters that you just want to have them look a little disturbing. You can do the same thing with doing straight lines on it, like little dashes all over, or make long dashes to make it look like it's kind of flying a little bit. Anyway, so there's 3 samples of different types of lettering: the shadow, the sketchy, and this fuzzy. And these can be used for all kinds of things. You know, you can do them for your reports, to label some of your books, to make a card, anything for poster art. But anyway, so there you go. Hope you had fun watching that.